Losers bracket final, the final match, everyone, in Group B, a best of 5 series. Let's go. We got DDX, the rematch against Team RIP. They already met in the winner bracket. Back then it was a best of 2 series, and the blue team won it without dropping a map. So now it's a redemption story potentially for DDX. By the way, some people might be asking, hey, where is the Swedish team? The Swedes actually forfeited their match. They weren't able to field the entire team. They will still participate, to my knowledge, in the last chance qualifier, but they're not part of Group B anymore. So DDX got a free win in the other match, which is why we're jumping straight into the losers bracket final right now. So good for Team RIP and for DDX. They have less matches to play. Tough for the Swedes and now have to go through the last chance qualifier. But one of the two teams ahead of us now will move on to the playoffs directly. Now this is all playing out in the new patch. As I said, this is the Eternal Conflict Season 1. We have 1,500 euros as prize money. And with the new patch there came a lot of changes which we addressed. Again, that Probius ban. I'm actually getting a little bit salty at this point. We had previously, when RIP was playing, Probius not banned and they just didn't pick it. They scrimmed apparently with a Probius strategy. But now that we might get it against DDX, the red team is just coming in and banning it out. So, yeah, it's honestly a shame. D.Va bans, Probius banned, D.Va ban against Virgil. He's playing D.Va a lot. So, the bans are smart, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're really thinking this through. But it's also a little bit sad because I would love to see some of those heroes. We're going to talk about the patch changes as we're going into the games. I've been addressing them throughout the group, but obviously this is now the first weekend that we have the new patch in a tournament environment. And teams will, over the next couple of weeks and months, still adjust a lot to the changes and take them into account here to try and experiment with new compositions, shift hero priorities a bit. We've seen some experiments, but they have also been conservative on some ends. But to be fair, this is not really a patch that necessarily ends up with a complete shift that all of a sudden you see totally different champions. We have a few that have made an impact. Azmodan is one of them, played by Cesapos again here. This is actually the third time, I believe, in Group B that Azmodan gets played. It's all about not only getting the lane experience, but also about taking advantage of the push abilities of Azmodan with his trade, with him obliterating the opponent's minion wave, and then also with him dropping his demonic invasion on structures. So Azmodan gets played again here. That already makes me happy. I also like that Yoshiro is playing Falstad. I've highlighted Falstad a few times, and Yoshiro has been playing him several times now. If you have that global presence on the map, you can really take advantage of the new Inspire mechanic that you have on minions. We're going to talk more about that in the game itself. But I like that we're having a couple of experiments coming in here. But what I was trying to get to is that I think what changes most is how teams now approach the macro game. They have to be more crisp in the way that they rotate between lanes and that they take care of experience, because the small XP globes have been removed. So now if you are not on lane, if you are just joining a 5-man for too long, you will lose out on lane experience. And if your opponent is diligent about soaking all of those minion waves, they will end up being ahead in XP, in talents, and just ruffle stomp you into the ground. So teams have to really think this through a little bit more. It's leaning more towards the days of HGC than before. So it's a bit of a middle ground right now. We still have XP globes, but we just don't have the small ones anymore. So you can't be as sloppy any longer in your rotations and your map control as you could before. EDC and Hogger, again, interesting choices already. The Azmodan pick in particular. We've seen Azmodan chosen in Group A already, which was played in the old patch. I would argue in preparation for Group B, or for, not Group B, it's not the same teams that are playing here, but in preparation for the new patch. And Team RIP has started to take advantage of Azmodan here, and we'll see if they can win a game with him. We get Hanzo and we get Malfurion for DDX. And that leaves us with Dino, the final pick for our first game on Infernal Shrines. Quick reminder, this is a best of 5 series and we do not have draft restrictions. This is a standard draft. But, yeah, let's go. What can the blue team now throw together? We still need a bit of range damage, I guess. Azmodan alone is not going to cut it. And they move in with Jaina. Some burst damage. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an Azmo party. We got DDX against Team RIP, the rematch, with Infernal Shrines being our first map. Azmodan is in the house, and Team Rip starts off on the left in blue with Cesabos on the Lord of Sin. Annihilation on the baseline. We got Crankle on ETC, Dino is playing Jaina, Sven on Hogga, and Vasilisco on Rhaegar. The red team, Team DDX, eager for a revenge match. We have Shizakid on Tyrael. Yoshiro is playing Falstad, Virgil on Blaze, since his Diva got denied. Dead Inside on Hanzo, and Danazovsky is playing Malfurion. So, party time! Now, as usual, when you're playing with Azmodan, you want to assist him early on to get stacks. This is where Jaina is absolutely perfect. If they get the orb through first, and then Jaina comes in and drops the wave, they can very quickly stack Greed on level 1, and Azmodan, especially after hits level 7, is going to be able to control the waves then quickly by himself and have a huge impact here. So already Tyrael trying to counteract that by him coming in and dropping the shield, but even that got counterplayed, and Shizakid is low too, so already a problem for the red team. This is the beauty of playing Tyrael against Azmodan, that oftentimes you can play around it. But I like what we're seeing here. Jaina leads in with the first Blizzard, and before the second wave hits, Azmodan gets the Orb of Annihilation through. So now very quickly they end up with him having 30 stacks. The only reason why they're not continuing the play instantly in the mid lane is because we now have the mercenary camps spawn at the 30-second mark. So previously it was the 1 minute mark where mercenary camps appeared. Now with the changes on the patch, it's 30 seconds earlier than that, which allows teams to go for camp pushes much sooner. Or even camp invades if the opponent is making a similar play. So that's why the stack process and progress of Azmodan was slowed down a little bit. There's the next hit coming in. They got 44 stacks already, but Jaina's a bit low. Needs to be careful. Jet propulsion on Azmodan. And, well, he gets body blocked and taken out. Hogga is pushing at the top. If he starts attacking structures, which he does, he procs instantly the mechanic, the new mechanic, the Inspire mechanic on the minions. And this will result in 35% additional attack speed and also movement speed for the allied minions. All as long as you attack structures with auto attacks. So it can't be a ranged ability or anything of the sorts. Has to be an auto attack. But this means that if you push on a side lane alone, you can do so much more damage right now. So not only should you always try to stay on the side lane unless there is an objective or a big team fight up in order to get the experience on the lane, but also to avoid your opponent from simply pushing down your structures. This all accelerates the game, of course, a little bit, at least if a team macros properly, and Blizzard has been trying to offset this by increasing structure health. So structures now have 12.5% more health, which is also pretty big. So that means that while we have the push mechanic kicking in, it's offset a bit, and that results in very similar lengths that we had before. So the games that we've seen throughout the group had similar length to what we saw previously. So we didn't all of a sudden have a 5-minute increase or decrease in game length. So everything is still very much similar to what it was before, but you have now more control over the impact that you yourself have in the game, especially when you're a side laner, when you're pushing, and also if you have the map awareness to always figure out, hey, where am I currently the most valuable? Is there maybe a double minion wave pushing in somewhere that I could boost to? Globals therefore become also important, and there's a lot of how the teams can start to adjust here. Objective itself, Falstad actually murdered by Azmodan at the top lane. Okay, the chicken got plucked. We got wings for dinner. Asmo with a huge impact there, and that is a bit brutal. It's extra experience for Team Rip, and an early level 7 should also help them to push at the top even further. If Azmodan takes that minion wave out, he could technically also try and help to push for structures, but it is the red team that likely will walk away with the first Punisher. And there, a map change that we have on Infernal Shrines is going to become important. Because Punishers can now not be baited over these gates any longer. So the Punisher is going to walk straight into it or jump onto it. And that allows teams to push more aggressively. It's the reason why they actually proc the jump to bait it in a bit sooner. But Azmodan, yeah, counter kill at the top by Falstad, so the birdie got its revenge. Down here, on the other hand, it's a double kill against Malfurion and against Hanzo. So the push power with the Punisher might be stronger if you can push with the team, especially, of course, if you have a minion wave that gets inspired as well. You can't bait it over the wall to kill it quickly. but that only applies if you keep all of your heroes safe. And with ETC sliding in and then Jaina coming through with all of that burst damage, the two were killed, and that put an end to the push from Team DDX. So 3 kills to 3 now, with a slight advantage already on the side of Team RIP. And they have 74 stacks now for Azmodan as well. So he can still work those minion waves. Big aggression at the bottom of the map with Rhaegar dodging at 7 hit points. And then Falstad comes in and takes him out regardless. Dino gets also caught and killed, and ETC will fall too. It's a triple kill against the blue team. But they have a push going on with the minions in the middle and even at the top. Falstad is flying in here and is trying to deal with this. Hogger can easily push back out, but that's at least some structures that were taken. The red team is taking advantage of the situation at the bottom of the map though, and is pushing in here very quickly. Boss is now trying to stop them, taking the minions out and also pushing the heroes back a bit. But there's still a camp to be played, and since they have level 10, they can easily go for it and take that out. First fort of the game, therefore eliminated at the 5-minute mark. Falstad using the global abilities to push at the top, and this is exactly why I've been talking about Falstad quite a bit, who has been severely underplayed, by the way. Falstad has not been played a lot. We had 1 or 2 teams that played around globals. Dehaka, even the Ring of Frost. They get the ding here. Obviously, demonic invasion for Azmodan. But as I was about to say, we have one team that has played a lot around Dehaka and was trying to use him to global around, even with the changes to his Brush Stalker. And we had also one team, and the team at hand, that played a lot of Falstad, who is having a bit of a tough one now that he gets killed again. And they are always moving onto lanes where you have minions pushing in to try and take advantage of Inspire. And it's working quite nicely, but of course you have to keep them alive too. So Sylvanas, Falstad, and maybe Dehaka would expect to see a bit more in the near future, maybe already in the playoffs, or at least in the last chance qualifier. But time will tell how much of an impact they're going to have. Now we have the next push coming in. Inspire kicks in, we have the demonic invasion, and nobody's even dealing with this. There's still a push at the top. Boss gets another hit out and connects it with Falstad, but apparently doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with the birdie. So that shuts down the aggression a bit. 142 stacks now for the big one though, and that's a decent amount. I mean, Azmodan is back up towards the top lane, gets a few more hits in here as well, and will soon complete at least the level 1 quest while continuing to work on the baseline. The siege damage that he gets out and the lane control that comes with him is going to be fantastic for them. But then again, we have now also for the red team 1 fort destroyed still, so structurally they've pulled ahead already early on. In regards to the damage output, 20,000 damage for Hanzo, 17,000 for Jaina. Azmodan has been killed twice and is immediately back to business all the way up at the top. Few more stacks for him, no problem, and can deal with the camp while the teams are focusing onto the next objective in the mid lane. This time we're talking about a Mortar Punisher. 6 kills to 5, 13 available for Team RIP. They have a slight lead in XP now that translates into a talent advantage. Azmodan is still attacking the top and trying to take the Shaman camp down. Could push for the 4-2 of course if he wants to progress further, but with Hanzo jumping onto the lane, it's only the wave that is pushing, which is already in of itself a lot. It allows Azmodan to come towards the middle and help them claim the shrine minions, and this results in the first objective for Team RIP. Whereas DDX is pushing with Falstad at the bottom of the map. So, yep, there's the attack kicking in. Yoshiro is hearthing back out. Azmodan is picking up the last few hits here, and the team is fighting it out in the mid lane with the Punisher joining the fun immediately, of course. This fort could technically be destroyed. We'll see how they play it. Falstad with a lot of moves now and is getting the angle for the Gust. Ring of Frost dodged so far. Quest completed for Dainu. He has an ice block that he can use if needed, and the Punisher is still doing work as we have Azmodan down at the bottom of the map making his plays. Keep in mind that keeps and forts don't attack heroes any longer if they have other targets. So there is a huge incentive to dive underneath structures right now with a big push. Big POC from Hogger. Azmodan is pushing the bot lane. Has his inspired waves as well and is moving back early. Big hits coming in. Over here it is Vasilisko that gets attacked. They're trying to go for Rhaegar, and Azmodan attacks again. Falstad is about to go down, but Rhaegar gets eliminated. And in comes the big hit. Another 3-pointer from Azmodan. Boss connects it, takes Falstad out. Malfurion has also been dropped. 7 kills to 7 with a half-level lead for the blue team. Big moves made. Level 1 not completed just yet. But Azmodan is slowly getting there. And his output should be... I mean, look at his siege damage. 127,000 siege damage so far. Not really winning any awards for his hero damage, of course. But that's not the objective right now. For now, the big goal is just to control the macro game. Control the lanes and get his stacks together. And then later on, he can also contribute in team fights. But he has a very clear mission. And he's currently... pulling that off very successfully. So 2 forts now destroyed on the red team side. Ice block. Yeah, and well, with that fort being this slow at the top lane, the blue team is orientating their 4-man towards that. Azmodan can obviously now control 2 lanes soon. He's getting the hits out and is basically insta-killing everything here. So it makes it very easy for him to get the lane experience for the team and put more pressure onto DDX as they're starting to lose control of the macro game. Rip still going for a few more camps, I guess, or at least could. Already getting scouted out by Boss. Red team fully set up in the middle. With level 16, we now got the Hell Rift 2. And let's not forget about the trade for Azmodan. Asmo's trade is already active at the top lane, and it is part of why the red team is getting pinned down more and more. So down at the bottom of the map, it's Falstad that they're going to try and go for. Gust being used, and it's going to be able to barrel out if he needs to. But that's obviously another cooldown that needed to be burned. Big hits on Dino. The ice block, the ring. He needs to heal, and it's too late. Gets killed right away. But Malfurion, the mosh pit. Malfurion with the big moves, and it is a counter kill. Crankle gets also isolated and eliminated the holy ground here, stopping him cold, made it impossible for him to get out. Azmodan with decent damage on the orb, but it's not enough to nuke the red team into oblivion. 8 kills to 9, both of them on level 17 now, as the blue team slowly starts to retreat here. Now we have currently on minion experience a lead for the blue team. They're also ahead when we're talking mercenary experience, passive experience and structural experience. It's the heroes where they lose out on a little bit. The next objective is now popping up as we're heading into minute 13 of the game. Malfurion about to be back, ETC, yeah, gone for another 10 seconds, but they will all be ready for the objective fight. No level 20 in sight for anyone. More damage coming in for Azmodan, of course. So he still has another 150 damage to go. And can pull that off, of course, by starting to attack more in these big fights that we have now on the shrine. It's a Frozen Punisher now. No team has a fountain at the bottom of the map. Azmodan, well, doesn't connect anything here just yet. Has to wait for the cooldown again. Can start to laser that into the ground once more. And with Falstad still sitting at the top lane, we are not having a full 5-man for DDX at the bottom of the map. The birdie is coming in. Is also looking for an angle to use his Gust again, of course. But so far, the blue team is not doing too badly in their attempt to take control. It's a very even fight between the two, though. Dino safe for now. Gust used. Hogger pogging. Dino should still have his ice block available. Didn't have to use that either. Jet propulsion stuns out ETC. Who gets a quick ancestral. Sven might have been the better recipient for the ancestral, though. And Falstad gets murdered after the Ring of Frost connected with him. That's the end of Tyrael, and it seems like Blaze is also going to die. Azmodan with a few more hits. They can't take Blaze out, but they are able to go for Hanzo. And well, scratch that. They also drop Blaze. So that is 4 heroes down. And well, Hogger is going to defend the top lane. But the rest of the team, with a Frozen Punisher that they were able to net themselves at the same time, is now pushing at the bottom of the map. They have their Storm Talons, and they're starting to go for the fort here. Danazovsky, he is gonna die, basically committing honorable Sudoku. They know, obviously, that this is lights out. They have Azmodan down here. There's Catapults. There's a Frozen Punisher. It's an entire 4-man. And they are going to go for the core directly. Falstad can try and buy them a little bit more time with another Gust. But that's essentially it. Tyrael is already diving around. But this is going to be a lead for the blue team. Team Rip is going to take this one. The core down to 50%. there's the laser against Chizakid as the core is falling, and Team Rip is taking the lead. With 15 kills to 9, they win Infernal Shrines and take the 1-0 in the best of 5. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Well, we're headed to Alderac Pass. Team Rip with the lead in the series now, so they did well. They were able to claim victory with Azmodan, who, by the way, in the new patch has, I believe, a 100% win rate. Now, this makes it sound a little bit more exciting than it actually is. It's not like we're seeing him every single map, but I believe he has now been played 2 times, maybe even 3 times in Group B, and so far he was always successful. Both times by Cesabos, by the way. Now, Probius gets banned again. DDX, again, teams scrimmed against each other. There's definitely some info going on. We haven't seen in an official match the Probius strategy of Team Rip yet. And Team DDX just refuses straight up to play against it. We have also D.Va banned out for the 2nd time. As pointed out before, this is because Virgil plays a mean D.Va and really likes to lock her in. So they're trying to shut that down while they can. Tracer gets banned as well. With Alderac Pass, we have a big map. So that means we could also see a few more globals. Maybe also an Uberak again. Again, an Uberak is great on this map, generally speaking, because with him you can sneak the objective. You can spawn a couple of beetles and then they distract the grunts or the footman and you can channel the prisoner camp. But you also can now use an Uberak to heavily dive underneath structures, spawn some beetles, the towers, the forts, everything attacks the beetles, and you can go for heroes of your opponent. So the new priority mechanics that we have in the game make that possible, so Nubarak gains a bit of priority if you're planning to aggressively dive your opponent every chance you get. And since Nubarak already gives you some extra value on Alderac Pass, there's a chance we're going to get to see him here. Rega as a first pick for Dead Inside for DDX. They're now down 1 map in the best of 5 series. And we're starting things off with, Gazlowe Azmodan. I mean, the Azmodan pick, okay, fair enough. I talked during the break on the Twitch stream a bit about how Dainu played Azmodan, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, already on Alderac Pass, always trying to use the size of the map to his advantage with the Demonic Invasion drops. And now, obviously, Azmodan is a bit stronger if you're trying to use him as a push hero, just because he can control the lanes and the lane experience so easily by taking the minion waves down, because he has a straight and we have the Inspire buff. But that they would go for the Gazlowe Azmo Wombo, that is unexpected. Now, this is a lot of macro play already. If you have Gazlowe pushing on one lane and Azmodan on the other, DDX needs something to counter that. They go for Tyrael and Blaze, which means that they are likely looking for team fights. I talked in a similar context around the possibility of eventually seeing a Zagara Nidus with Infest as a level 1 choice. It is still a concept that could be interesting as teams are testing stuff out. Abatha gets banned. That was a smart one right there. But I am mega interested. Is this just because they are ahead, you know, and they're feeling like, hey, it's a map where it could work out. We are in the lead already. But let's not forget, if they actually lose the series, they have to go into the last chance qualifier. So there's still quite a bit on the line here. You want to qualify for the playoffs as quickly as you can. We are in the losers final. So Gazlowe Azmo now. Get Imperius as the main tank from the looks of it. And Brightwing. There's a chance? Are they going to add something like Samuro now as well? I'm honestly looking at this and I'm thinking, how crazy can they get with it? So, yeah. Very, very close on this one now. To have like a full, I mean, range damage. Yeah, I mean, you have a couple of range abilities. That's not the same as having a sustained range damage dealer. So Hanzo and Genji, they're going full on Overwatch on the damage dealers. The Shimada brothers united. That's going to be a wild one. Did they go too overboard with that double pick at the beginning? And why take Gazlowe that early? It's not like he's going to get banned out. Sven for the final pick. It's going to get wild here. Yeah, and Sven goes for for Hogger. We get Hogger again. Alright guys, this is going to be a wild one. Aldrich Pass, our second map between Team Rip and DDX. Let's go. It's getting wild here. Team Rip went for Gazmodan, the terror combo. They might have gone a little bit too far outside of the box. Some people have already suggested that they're farming bounties, but there's no bounties available in this tournament, so that's not really the case. But it could be wild. It's a big map, of course, so that could work. We now have Sven on Hogger, Cesarbos again on Azmodan. We get Vasilisco on Brightwing, Dino is playing the Gazlord, and Krankle on Imperius. Over on the right side of the map, we get DDX with Shizakid on Tyrael. Virgil is playing Blaze, Yoshiro on Hanzo, Dead Inside playing his brother on Genji, and we get Danazovsky on Rega. And Gazlowe is going into the big game hunter immediately, so more scrap for him. And Tyrael instantly dies. That's not a good start for DDX. It definitely isn't. I really am curious how this is going to play out. I assume that they're going to split Gazlowe and Azmodan as much as they can. And I am apparently completely wrong. Okay, so he just gets the turret in to slow the rotation down, but I don't think he's going to follow to the top. It's going to make it a bit difficult, by the way, for Azmodan to stack. If you have to ever solo stack, this is how you do it, by the way. I've been talking about this 1,000 times now. If you have to solo stack on Azmodan and you have nobody that is helping you out, Rancor, and he gets away. If you have to solo stack, what you want to do, and your opponent is of course going to try and stop you, but what you want to do is you auto-attack the backline minions. Your minion wave is going to attack the front line and going to get it low. You attack the back line, and then when all of them are low, that's when you get your Orb of Annihilation through and then get your stacks. But this is really just worst case scenario. You always want to have somebody that can help you a little bit to stack. Invade attempt here, not working out. Can they get a kill? The answer is no. Oh, well, maybe. Hello? Yep, there it is. Hanzo goes down. And they're lasering Tyrael too. They go for Shizakid. Gazlowe value. And here's the Impale. Krankle wants the kill. And he gets the kill. Nice. Job well done. Up at the top, there you can see it again in action. Gets the stacks together. So, well done. Sitting at 30 and instantly going for the laser show over here, trying to take some of the towers down a notch. We have also a push in the middle with the mercenary camp. Since only one of the teams has taken it, they obviously benefit from that fact. And there's the push at the bottom of the map now with Gazlowe. So the idea with the draft became pretty apparent during the draft itself. They are trying to use the fact that this is a very big map and split Gazlowe and Azmodan up and push with both of them on opposite lanes essentially. While we have a task force, so to say, that is reacting to hero movements on the red team side and trying to deal with it. So they are going to macro a lot, and they are hoping that they're going to get elite in experience and talents through their macro game alone. Once again, yeah, this is how you play that. You attack the minion waves in the back, one after another, get them low, and then you get the orb in. So this is the best way for Cesarbos to currently stack his level 1 in his baseline, since he doesn't have anybody helping him out. Now, always try to have someone that assists you in stacking, but if you do not have anyone, that's the way, right there. And he's doing okay. Before the level 7, he's already sitting at 50 stacks currently. With level 7, he's going to net those a lot faster. We have Gazlowe now with Rocket Socket on level 4. And yeah, it's going to be curious to see how Dino is going to play this out, as Azmodan gets tag team topside by Blaze and Genji and gets actually eliminated. Now Krankle is quickly there to ensure that they're not losing out on any XP and getting pushed, but Dino gets pressured into a corner, and that is a bit too much for Gazlowe to handle. So Gazmodan has fallen. Gazmodan is officially eliminated. Both teams on level 7. Dead even right now, as Genji moves early into Augmented Guard. Azmodan now with Master of Destruction. I mean, he's a monster too. But this is going to help him to stack much, much faster. Gets the hit in, targets the middle, bam! Hanzo gone. It's just a bloodbath. I mean, honestly, they're so aggressive right now, and Rega gets killed too after Imperius was able to come in with a quick lunge and hit that one hard. So the blue team is slowly starting to take a lead here. And once again, we have more minions about to be taken. Experience netted. the push in the middle. That's also, of course, the objective, and Gazlowe can take that easily with him just dropping a couple of turrets. So the pressure that we expected to come from Anubarak is now coming from Gazlowe, and it allows Azmodan more freedom at the top lane. It seems like Imperius is going to slow down Virgil, so as Blaze is trying to go towards the top, the rest of the team slows it down, allowing that inspired wave to do more damage, and Azmodan is getting value here. The Inspire buff is in. Another quick hit also against the heroes, as Hanzo is getting farmed again. I mean, what's happening down at the bottom of the map? Hanzo is just getting absolutely free farmed here. A 1-level lead already for Team Rip, as now Azmodan is getting attacked, and he needs to be super careful given the big hit point, the big hitbox that he presents to the opponent. The objective claimed by DDX, so they are able to claim a bit more, as Cesarbos is now sitting at the top in a bush, hiding. But we're gonna get a massive pressure play from Team Rip because they're gonna get level 10 with this. Raiders are in, or the cavalry. We get level 10, which gives us, of course, the demonic invasion, and we have now the Robo Goblin. And this is the first time that we have Alterac Pass as the map in the new patch. And with the objective and the Inspire, plus also the turrets, there's going to be a way more damage on these structures now than previously. Azmodan is pushing at the top, for example, and is trying to do the same thing here with his own ult that he dropped on the opponent, but the fort in the middle is taking severe damage and will likely fall. At the bottom of the map, we have another attack, and it seems like Yoshiro is about to fall again. They could get the counter kill. Diving underneath structures is just now so much easier now that the forts and keeps don't target heroes directly any longer. Yes, there is, of course, a defense mechanic with that circle where you can get some extra armor and some sustain, but it is just not the same, and teams can be hyper aggressive in situations like this. We have 2 forts destroyed, 3 forts destroyed. The first objective already took every single fort out. Now, it's kind of important still to contextualize this a little bit, because yes, this was an absolute insane push that normally wouldn't have happened as such in the old patch, but it wasn't just that they got the objective. They got the objective, they have 2 push heroes, and they had level 10 and the opponent didn't. That allows you to very easily go for pressure plays, dive those forts, and try and take advantage of this. Now that we have heroic abilities for DDX, they're of course instantly trying to turn those fights around a little bit, but they missed the arrow on Hanzo. Ancestral is out, Sanctification, can they get the kill now? Genji with the Dragon Blade wants the kill, wants those resets on his Swift Strike, and takes at least Imperius down, but Azmodan is pushing the middle of the map. Dainu dies down here at the bottom, but Azmodan is now getting his trade in. He has still some assistant, gets his own ult out, and had the Inspire buff also triggering, so he can take some of the structures in the mid lane apart. DDX reacting, but maybe reacting a tad late. So they're taking damage there, but they're not losing too much. And of course, they have their own push now going strong at the bottom of the map, which can be enhanced by Tyrael, who gets the shield out for the minions too. 1 level gap between the 2 teams, and the experience difference is coming to a large part for minion XP. This is where Gazmodan, the 2 are working very, very nicely. And now that the blue team is eager to get themselves a boss at the bottom of the map, we could see a similar play from the red team as they're moving towards the top lane. But I'm honestly not sure if they're fast enough here. And that push at the bottom of the map could become a problem. So yes, they are going for the boss, but that allows Azmodan a bit more time to get more stacks and also pressure more. And of course at the bottom of the map, this one is already progressing very nicely, and Azmodan is already here. Azmodan is sitting at nearly 100,000. He's sitting at 100,000 siege damage already. And they're gonna go do big damage here. The red team is already hearthing back, and they really, really have to. Top side we're gonna be defended soon, but it's another big hit coming in from Azmodan with another orb. Sitting at 196 stacks, so soon he will at least complete his level 1 quest. Arrow straight into Dainu, but of no real consequence. They are not able to follow up on this. Vasilisco also paying attention. Topside boss is doing a bit of work here, but doesn't really have too much support. And at the bottom of the map, the keep is already taking damage. There's a 1.5 level gap now between the 2 teams. And this macro strategy that we're seeing from Team Rip is working well. Completely ignoring for a second the fact that they're also massively ahead in kills. 8 kills to 5. Kinda tells the tale here. Azmodan is defending at the top, completed his level 1 quest. Objective still being attacked, with Hanzo currently still at the bot lane, defending against the boss, and now that the boss is gone, he's going to join up with the rest of the red team to try and get themselves an objective and turn the game around. They don't have a lot of time until we have 16 available for the blue team, and of course Team Rip is hoping to use their talent advantage and will slow things down until then without heavily committing to a fight. Azmodan always sitting on the sides here and is looking to control the macro. And does. So, yep, is starting to move in. Out of vision for a long time. 16 is available now, which means for Azmodan that we have the Hell Rift. Fight in the middle. Still playing out with the DDX really trying to just 5-man this hard, but that also means that they're losing out on experience. And once again, we're having Azmodan starting to push the top, could drop his ult too, decided against it, might have gone a little bit too deep and could get punished now. Imperius is attempting to help him out, Brightwing is coming in, but they might have overstepped here. Another hit coming from Boss and gets some decent damage out, but now the Sanctification gets dropped from Tyrael and Azmodan goes down. Azmodan is dead. The topside keep is taking a little bit of damage on the other hand. Uh-oh, and the red team isn't out of this just yet. Danazovsky is in real trouble here. Imperius wants to kill. Brightwing also on the move. Rega is on the run, and I don't think that he's going to make it. Eventually he's going to give it pinned down here, and the blue team is also going for the objective at the same time. Dino had set up with turrets. Rega on the run, Blaze is down, Danazovsky is going to be able to escape, but the objective, that's a different story. 7 seconds left, and Sven wants Tyrael. They're going for Tyrael, Dino with a laser show, Den inside is low too, Genji's in trouble, objective claimed, and they gotta be super careful with these turrets. Yoshiro takes too much damage, so does DDX's Genji, but he is able to get away. The problem is down at the bottom of the map, with a trade of Azmodan just assisting with these pushes, the keep falls. First armor shield is already obliterated. They're running circles around them right now, and it's a massive win for Team Rip the way that they're playing this. DDX is trying to force fights, but they just can't, and the few that they force, they also lose. Or at least only trade evenly and don't outright win, which is of course a huge problem in and of itself. Azmodan is now pushing the top lane. The rest of the team is busy in the middle. Could start to attack the structures a bit to get himself the buff. That's a mistake. Going for the laser directly is a mistake. Should have definitely used an auto attack. That gives you the Inspire buff for 3 seconds, and Boss missed out on it. They still get the keep, but generally that's a habit that they should very quickly get into to ensure that they have a better standing in future matches. 16 is finally there for DDX. The problem for them the entire time was that they played with a talent disadvantage again, similar to what happened around level 10 earlier. Hogger gets killed. The arrow missing though. And the keeps are gone with the exception of one. So 2 armor shields already moved. Azmodan with a hit against Hanzo. Takes him down but dies a moment later. Rega is dead too. And the core is actually falling fairly quickly here. They could definitely go for it now, but they want to get a kill first, and they're moving in for Genji, and he is going to die. Genji is gone. The core super low, but they're not going for the final blow just yet. With half a level missing until 20, they can wait that out. So, yep, that is a wild one. Gazmodan as a combo on a map as big as Alderac Pass is working out for them. They haven't won it yet, but it's looking very good. The blue team hasn't lost a single fort yet, but they destroyed all the keeps with the exception of one. Gazlowe is the top damage dealer on the team. 48,000. Azmodan with 170,000 siege damage. He joined those fights around the team fights very, very late. So his hero damage is low. But everything else was looking good for them. Boss at the top is now getting attacked, and that boss alone will likely end the game with a proper push. So, yeah, this is a huge problem now. At this point, we have level 20 available. That gives us also Sin's Grasp. We now get its Raining Scrap, and they are prepping that top lane. A little bit of a trap set up in the middle as well. The keep in the mid lane is also taking damage, so if this one is lost too, that would be an even bigger disaster. Azmodan is already prepping the lanes. Tons of health globes, by the way, here. But they gotta take this quickly. They want to go for the camp. They want to apply more pressure. The fight that DDX is looking for, they're not getting it. And they're also, of course, a Storm talent down, which is in and of itself already a disaster. If they lose heroes now, then it's immediately over. Sven is able to escape. That's a problem. Boss marching onto the core. Dino coming in with even more damage, and now it is time for them to again deal with Azmodan, but he retreats early, and Tyrael is the first one to fall. The core under attack, they're trying to stop the boss as best as they can, and Azmodan is just safely attacking from a distance. Once more, the slow on dead inside and big damage. It's not looking good. It should be game. Rhaegar down, Genji down, and that is the 2-0 lead in this best of 3 for Team Rip. 5-man team wipe as DDX goes down, and that is lights out. Aldrich pass goes to Team Rip. GG. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Towers of Doom, let's go! Game number 3, match point everybody. So, Gazmodan was successful. I really wonder if DDX now decides that they're banning Azmodan out, that they maybe let Probius go through and ban Azmodan instead. Because this is the original map where Rip played Azmodan the first time in this group. So their Azmodan strategy is so far working. And by the way, a little bit of a side note. There's the ban. I like it. Little bit of a side note in this context. Azmodan was actually played by Team Rip against DDX on Towers of Doom the first time in the winner bracket. So it doesn't really surprise me that they ban him now, because they essentially lost now 3 games against Azmodan pushes. And they obviously struggle to deal with it. That doesn't mean you can't deal with it, but the way that they are approaching it, but attempting to force these fights, it just doesn't work out. So them banning this makes perfect sense to me, and it's exactly the reaction that they should go for. They still want to eliminate Probius, so this is something that they are not going to let through. Again, team scrimmed. There's a Probius strategy that Team Rip played in scrims, and they don't want to go up against. So with that, we now have Maiev, who gets first picked. Could be a totally different approach on Towers of Doom now for Team Rip, obviously. They have match point in the series. We are in the losers bracket final, meaning that if the blue team wins here on the 3rd map, they advance to the playoffs, and DDX would have to go through the losers, the last chance qualifier. Sorry. Dehaka and Rhaegar. So Dehaka is once again in. And as I said, Dehaka was changed. His Brush Stalker, the cooldown was increased pretty significantly. I believe it was from 75 seconds up to 240 seconds. But you now get a cooldown reduction every time that you pick up a health globe. So if you are diligent on your laning, you take the minion waves out, you maybe also go for a mercenary camp, you can significantly reduce the cooldown. And Dehaka still adds a lot, of course, but his priority is shifting a bit. By the way, nothing amuses me more than people that immediately, you know, went to Reddit and started yelling about, like, oh my god, this hero is useless now. And I'm like, oh no, shocking. Patches that change how important heroes are. It's kind of funny. On the one hand, you have the people, you know, they want to have changes to the game, they want to have new heroes, they want to have patches, and then you have basically the same people coming in starting to yell when the patches change something. We want patches! But we want patches that don't change the game. It needs to stay the same. So it's like, oh no, we might have a hero that all of a sudden isn't as good anymore as before. You might have to play something else. The horror! Rhaegar, Stitches, and Junkrat. Yeah, get that hook, get that trap set up. And over on the left we get Zul and Malfurion. Yeah, Zul, he is not... and Gazlowe again! Dino apparently is really a big fan of the strategies that they're playing here. And I mean, look at this draft. They now have Chen, so they can use the Keck also to just create distance and save targets. It's something that we've seen in the Korean meta quite a bit. If you don't use him to isolate heroes and try and kill them, but instead you use him to save your own team and allow them more space to work with, that can be pretty impactful. And since they are playing more of an overall macro style, I actually like that a lot. So, can they make that happen on Towers of Doom? We'll see. Zul has wave clear, Gazlowe is going to be able to push. And on the other side, we now have, after Stitch's hooks, also Genji follow-up, so double Overwatch again. But with that, let's go. Towers of Doom is our third map. It's match point. Let's find out if Team Rip can pull it off, or if DDX is now putting a point onto the board. The blue team on the left going for Gazlowe again. Azmodan was denied to them, but they still want to play it out with Dainu on Gazlowe. Vasilisko with a vengeful root, so we are going full broccoli as well. I mean, at this point, they're just having fun, aren't they? Cesarbos on Zul, Krankle on Chen with the Eye of the Tiger, and we have Sven on Maiev. Over on the right side of the map, it is DDX down 2 maps in the series already with Shizakid on Stitches, Virgil on Dehaka, we got Yoshiro on Junkrat, Dead Inside on Genji, and in addition to that, we're getting Danazovsky with Feral Heart on Rega. So the insta attack in the middle of the map, so a 5-man is coming out here. And yeah, Dainu has gone once again into his level 1 talent with the big game Hunter. Dehaka is looking for the licks and is connecting a few. Vengeful Roots. It's going to be fun if he's actually able to get some damage out here. I mean, we'll see how much he can do as this continues and how many of those roots he's going to be able to land. 30 seconds in, the mercenary camps are spawning. Quick reminder, that's one of the changes that we had in the patch. Instead of the 1-minute mark, is now 30 seconds into the game that they're spawning. And since we're talking about the timing adjustments, the minion waves are now always spawning every 30 seconds at the full minute and at the half minute. So right now, full minute is in, bam, next minion wave is spawning, and then 30 seconds later the next one is coming in. Helps to time some of the waves a little bit better, some of your abilities better, and when we're talking Ragnaros and Lava Wave, you can obviously use a lot there too. Danazovsky gets saved by a helping hand from Stitches, and well, we still have some action down at the bottom here with the red team already dropping low, but they're not the only ones. Dainu also losing hit points here and getting booped around a bit. And hooked a second later, nice! Good damage against Gazlowe, but he's also getting some nice damage connected himself. He was top damage for the blue team in the previous game, let's not forget about that. So he did a lot here. Broccoli with 1 single stack, so not that strong yet, but we'll see how much Malfurion is going to get here as we're heading into the late game, for example. Now, quick tether and body block. Shizakid is low, and even with all of the heals from Rega, that is first blood. The kill is in. Stitches is gone, but Dainu also dies. They are trying to go for Rega to at least punish him here, and you know what? They're actually able to pull that off, so they're trading. It's not too bad. Getting the trade in with, in total, 2 kills to 1 now. And Chen is still jumping around here. Krankle definitely having some fun with this. Later on, we'll see how they're going to play this. If they are using the keg, always assuming that we're going to get the top barrel. And they're using it to create space for the side lane pushers and save them. Or if it's more of an aggressive play in an attempt to isolate heroes and take them on. Could obviously also counteract Gorge a little bit whenever Stitches lands a decent hook here. On level 4, we're getting the Celestial alignment now for Malfurion. And we also now have the Sudden Vengeance with another tether into a root and another kill. Not only get us Broccoli get a little bit more damage as we have more trained action, but they were also able to get that kill. Zul is interrupting at the top now. Wants to get that trade. Maiev is there as well, so I don't think that Genji is going to be able to steal that altar away. But down at the bottom of the map, that's where the normal battle is going to shape up between the teams. And it seems like the red team is letting this slide for now, so 2 of the altars will go over to Team Rip as they take the early game advantage here. Even establishing a small lead in experience over the opponent now. Level 7, we're getting the Nature's Cure again, and already a push at the bottom of the map with the Inspire mechanic kicking in here as we have the auto attacks coming through. And nobody has dealt with it yet. Dainu could get licked by the Haka, goes for Malfurion, nice, and that is a kill. Malfurion is down, no more Broccoli plays and stacks for now. But we still have Zul sitting at the top and slicing away here. He went on level 7 into the wall of bones, by the way. So it's definitely going to be the one that they're relying on for more sustain during teamfights later. Shade on 1, wall of bones on level 7. He's stacking his level 4 as we speak. Next attack against Sven. Tries to get out. Sven on the run. And Gazlowe is trying to help a little bit. Might be able to do that, actually. There's the heal from Malfurion. Sven is still alive, and there's no Swift Strike cooldown that could be utilized by him. But they go for Chen instead and take him down. So, Chen eliminated. Another big hook from Stitches. Nice. And that is the end of Basilisco. Rega dies too. Genji dove in too deep. And yes, they are not targeting you anymore if there is something else that they can attack. But that doesn't mean that the towers and the forts are now fully ignoring heroes. That's not the same thing. So Genji is going for Genji plays. Still a fair trade for the red team. So a bit of momentum for DDX, which they're going to be very happy about. I mean, 5 heroes dying in that last encounter. That was actually kind of nasty. And now we have the Kek. Level 10 abilities also give us the Robo Goblin for Gazlowe. We have the altar at the bottom of the map still up. Single altar right now. And there's the Gorge. But immediately the Kek against Stitches and even the Root on the ground. Very, very few root connects, by the way, from Malfurion as he pops his ult. Just as the isolation comes in, Malfurion still dies because Genji is just showing no mercy here. But they're still fighting this out against Danazovsky in particular, who on Rega is once more in trouble, but this time gets away. Chen gets attacked and is going to fall too. The disc missing. And the red team is gaining massive amounts of momentum here. 7 kills to 5 now, so not only did they catch up in kills, but they were even able to pull ahead. Very nice, by the way, the turret play over here against the Tong that we get from the Haka. So pretty sweet moves from Dino. But they are losing some ground now. That altar channeled successfully by DDX is gonna get them even with Team Rip. And thus far, at least, the whole strategy of the blue team isn't really working out. Good root. Broccoli still there and adding some more damage. No Tranquility this time, by the way, as we already said before. And now Zul at the top gets ganked and killed. So that is kill number 8. Seems like DDX is doing much, much better in this game now, in game number 3. And again, it's match point. Dino believed in the power of the Gas Lord, but so far, not justified. Has the top damage though. 21,000 damage for Gazlowe. Maiev also still sitting all the way up at the top. Malfurion has died 3 times. He's obviously Mr. Squishy when we're talking about the team here. And with only half a level until 13, we're going to see Stitches soon with a hook range extension, which is going to make him more dangerous to the opponent's team, of course, as well. Once more, Chen trying to isolate Rega, and I'm not so sure if they can take this here. The root will soon be dropped. Yeah, but he doesn't connect it properly. And over here on the right side, we have Chen still sitting tight too. Used his Gorge again, couldn't get the kill. They're having a self-ancestral from the doggy, putting him into a corner. Hook against Chen. Rega, low. They want the healer, can't get him. But they are also not losing anyone this time. And the altars are soon now spawning. So the teams are aggressively playing around the altar spawns. But we are going to get 13 for DDX in half a second. So they're looking better and better here, with now an advantage coming in for them. Big ass for Junkrat. We're getting Meat Hook and Ferocious Stalker for Dehaka. The channel from Dino not working out just yet. Yes, the turret's there too, but it's Sven that dies first. So even with Gazlowe attempting to set up here in the middle, the team is just not able to pull that off. They were looking for a channel at the bottom of the map at least, but they can't get that either. So now with Malfurion gone too, it's very likely a double altar channel for DDX. They are already successfully taking the middle, and now Stitches is down at the bot lane. More and more likely that we're going to go to game number 4. I mean, it's very early, too early to tell, but the momentum is, for now, in the hands of DDX. The lead in experience for them, heavy kill lead, 10 to 5, and also the advantage on the core. 13 now available with the superior schematics. Oh, yeah, well, The shot at taking Genji down, but he was able to escape. Anyways, so... yeah, it's a toughie. It's really a bit of a tough one now for the blue team. They're losing too much ground. They were trying to go for macro again, and so far it's not really working that well. The root against Rhaegar and the kill against Dehaka. 7 stacks now for Malfurion. Not really any crazy amount of damage so far, thanks to Broccoli, as Gazlowe falls at the bot lane after getting gorged. We have still, this is the lowest damage dealer in the game, Malfurion. But if they get more roots out, Broccoli could obviously do some work later on. For now, it's more camps for DDX. Vazilisco was targeted very heavily throughout the entire game, and 4 deaths on his side puts him into the pole position when it comes to the death count, so not really a stat that we want to brag about. Yeah, once again we got the traps set up. Double altar at the top lane this time. 15 is so close now for DDX. The lead in experience is starting to become more and more of a problem. And again, this is against the team that is very heavily focused on getting these lanes destroyed, that has a lot of wave clear, and is trying to play around it. Minion experience is not too bad for Team Rip. They're actually ahead. It's really the hero experience that's the biggest problem for them right now. Gazlowe with the channel. Dehaka runs straight into Sesabos for a second. Down at the bottom of the map. Another kill, another gorge, another kill. Working like a charm. Shen not even able to keg away. Now we have Genji with another kill. They take down Maiev. And that should be a bell tower at the bottom of the map. No way. Okay, Dehaka does not get the kill on Zuel thanks to that, but wow, that would have been insane. Can you imagine if they would have all of a sudden lost that too? The 16 talent is already enough of a problem as is. Now the bell tower is claimed and Stitches is going to get the 5 additional shots connected for the team. So we're talking 19 points on Team Rip's score. They will get 16 now, but if they are not starting to turn this around soon, then it's going to be a fast one. We're 11 minutes in right now, and so far DDX is absolutely running the show on them. Gazlowe gets hooked, and, well, can they kill him? I guess the answer this time is no. So they're not able to get him just yet. Bit more damage, here comes the keg. Turrets soak up the shots, and they get Stitches. I mean, this time they get Stitches. The turrets do damage. No, wait, don't tell me he gets away here. There's the disc. And down at the bottom of the map, we have Malfurion with the ult. Twilight Dream gets the root out. They want Rhaegar. Stitches is already gone, but now Genji is coming in. And he wants to kill on at least Malfurion. Gets pulled back, though. Malfurion is still alive. Is trying to help the team out. Willing to sacrifice himself here. Is still alive. Junkrat is gone. And Vazilisco is just juking everything. So both Stitches and Junkrat have fallen. And now with Inspire kicking in for the minions, they are able to retake the bell tower at the bottom. They're even looking for more kills. They want Genji, might not be able to get him. Dehaka is now showing up too. Sven therefore goes down. They overstepped slightly. They got their bell tower back. Now we have the triple altar phase ready. But Maiev is going to be down for much, much longer. They could try and take Rhaegar out though. If they are able to take Rhaegar and there's a good chance, then that would be a huge win for the objective phase. And Rhaegar indeed falls. They get the kill on Rhaegar. 9 kills to 14 now. Stitches said hello, and just at the worst possible moment in time. There's turrets everywhere. Gazlowe gets gorged. Still body blocking. Shiza Kid. There's no support, no heal, and that's a kill. Gazlowe's going to try and set up at the top now with turrets. They want all 3 of them. That would be 12 points of the opponent's score if they can get there. Gazlowe's channeling. Chen is trying it out down at the bottom of the map. Vazilisco also at it. Genji is moving in. Maybe too late. And there's the hit. Too late. All 3 are connected. And that's 12 points of the core of DDX. Down to 16 now. So the blue team is taking the lead once again. And, well, more importantly, they've actually closed the experience gap. Yep. They closed the experience gap. And, oh my god, he's even stealing their camp away. Dino, leave him something at least, dude. 12 stacks for Malfurion now. Broccoli, still not insane. That's there. Chen wanted to go Junkrat. They couldn't, but they are going to get that bell tower at the bottom of the map. And top side, Dehaka's in a bit of trouble. Gets the lick. Nice! And Dehaka is alive. And Zul is dead. Well done. Virgil with some sexy plays. Sven is getting away initially, but he will also fall. At the bottom of the map, again, they got the bell tower. They're also taking a few of the camps, but those were two important kills for DDX, just as the momentum was stalling and the blue team was completely turning the game. They are able to get an early level 20, they're able to grab a boss, and therefore 4 more shots. But of course, they still have to also deal with what's happening at the bottom of the map right now. So more damage done by Dinus at 45,000 and still top damage for the team. Chen is second. And Malfurion could get attacked here. He's still trying to hide a little bit. They've already sniffed him out. That's the gank. And, well, they stayed a bit too long. Astral Communion came in. Big damage, but not big enough. There's the Gorge, but a quick reaction from Chen as he's creating space for the team. They're trying to get a kill on Rhaegar. They shouldn't fight here. They're missing 2 of their heroes. Dehaka isn't there yet either. Danazovsky is about to go down and saves himself. They are still doing damage. I mean, honestly, given the fact that they only had 3 of their heroes here, this was still good. But they should not have fought that one in the first place. There was a chance to get away from it. And they're still chasing this more or less. As Zul is moving in. He's trying to get his connects here. Zul with big damage throughout the game too. The level 20 talents obviously help with that even more so. Mortal Wound from Zul. They are going for that bell tower again, and Stitches somehow dies. They never let up on the chase and are able to get big damage out. Maiev gets hit by the Tong and is able to get away. But the control over the bell tower at the bottom right is still in the hands of the blue team. They never had to give it up, and now they're even able to take down Junkrat, which is insane in and of itself. The resilience of the blue team in this fight was absolutely nuts. 15 points to 11 overall. Both teams on level 20. And we got Sanjin for Genji. But he's still short. So he's still not quite there. Went on level 16 straight into Reflect and then Sanjin. But he needs a lot more stacks before he can get full use of this. So we have Pumpkins moving through the bottom. Disconnects. Where's the root when you need it? Right there. And the kill against Dehaka. And once again, they're setting up with the turrets and with Inspire minions to take the bell tower down. Danazovsky gets rolled into the corner. That's another bell tower gone. They want to go for the barrage. They want to go for the full control. Team Rip. They want the 3-0 victory, and they're getting closer and closer to the game, potentially ending that way. Up at the top, they're going for the last standing bell tower on the side of DDX as the red team is trying at the bottom of the map to get some control back. They go for Krankle, might get the kill here even. Krankle, disc is missing. Krankle is low, but again, the top is falling and now damage will be done. They are going to stop this, but at least a shot or 2 are going to be fired. The first shot of the barrage is already out. Minions are now coming in as well. Sven is engaging. Second shot, it's on its way. They might get a third before the bell tower is retaken. And the third one is on its way. With Malfurion channeling over here in the middle. 8 points on the core. And Malfurion is going to hit another 6 as Shizakit falls. Genji and Junkrat are also gone. What an insane game. Honestly, what a crazy series that we're seeing here from Team Rip. But that's going to be all she wrote. With 2 points on the core against the 15 that we're seeing from Team Rip, the blue team is going for the final channel and they're ending it. They're moving on to the playoffs and DDX has to play through the last chance qualifier. 35 kills in total as Rip wins on Towers of Doom. GG.